Hey guys, Josh here from Love the Hobbies. So here we are doing a DIY project, and the project today is a crib. Yeah, so we are pregnant. Yes, so we're not building a crib randomly. So we thought that it would be a fun project to start doing it actually. So we are currently sanding. So sanding's been a big portion of the project because what we're doing is we're gonna stain and poly the crib. So the staining and poly need sanding done, a lot of it. And before I get started with all the details about what we're doing, I just want to let you know that I'm gonna link the blog because we got it from the internet. So these guys are amazing. We're doing what they said, so I'm gonna link them and show they have all the materials and everything so everybody can do it, but I'm just basically putting it in a video, so that's all. but yeah, so basically we're in the sanding portion of the crib. So as you can see, I got some sawhorses and everything set up, and everything set up over here, so it's crazy. But then we're in our garage right now. So for sanding, we're doing the 60 grit. I mean, at 60, you can do 60 or 80 grit, either one. The 60 is pretty much the highest. So, because really we want to get those teeth marks out of the sides of the wood. So there's teeth marks right here on the sides of the wood that you want to get out. Especially if you're going to stain it and poly it, because when you stain it, you're going to be able to see all those imperfections. So you're going to want to sand those out. You're going to use the 60 or 80, and then you want to go to the 120. And then after you sand everything on the 120, then you could go ahead and just start building and putting together. We thought it'd be easier to sand all the boards while they're together. I mean, you probably are going to do a little bit more work, but it's going to be easier sanding because you're not going to use all the boards whenever you put them together. So that's why we sanded before we put them together. And then we're going to use the 220 later on whenever to do the finish on it. And just to note also, if you're going to paint your crib, you don't really necessarily have to do so much sanding. I would actually venture to say, like, you could probably do the 60 and 120 and just that'd be it, essentially, because your paint would cover all your little micro imperfections. So yeah, but anyways, so we're going to go for a long journey here. It's going to take more than a day or whatever, how long this video is. It's going to take more than that. But I'm going to walk you through each of the steps that we do. I'm not going to have 3 days of sanding, so we're just going to be sanding, and then we'll see you guys in the next step. So we'll see you there. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you the saw teeth that I was talking about earlier whenever you're sanding. So you can see these are little minor ones, but as you go down further on the board, right here, you can tell like this big gash here. So you want to get those imperfections out of the wood with the sanding, and mainly the 60 or 80 grit sandpaper, and then it'll be fairly smooth. Be sure not to press too hard when you're sanding, or you'll get some swivels or anything like that whenever you're using your orbital sander or something like that. But just be careful. So I just wanted to point those out. Hey guys, after you have completed all your sanding, which hooray, 2 thumbs up, awesome, we are doing the sides of the cribs now. Crib. The side of the crib. And so you're going to take the 1x6s and you're going to cut them 36.5 inches long. So make sure you get a square cut. We're using a miter saw here, so to get a straight cut on them. And yeah, essentially you're going to cut 10 of those, and then we'll move on to the next step after that. So there you go. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, we just finished cutting the 1x6s for the crib side. So now we are moving on to the 1x3s. So currently we're going to cut those 26 3/4. So one step that we had to do in between the 1x3s and the 1x6s was that we had to rip one of the 1x6s and to be shorter. So because you'll see whenever you measure 5 1x6s across, it's going to be more than 26 3/4. So you're going to have to rip one, or you can rip one or two 1x6s, so you can have even. We just did one, and we just put the board in the center. So you really can't tell because you're not ripping that much off of it. I'm trying to find the ripped board, but I can't find it. So, but yeah, you're gonna have to rip one of the 1x6s. I think it's like 1 1/8 inches. Don't quote me on that, but just check and measure. So you're just gonna have to rip to 26 3/4. So that being said, so you're gonna have to do your 1x3s 26 3/4 length. So right here you can see we got a 26 3/4 length board here. And after you rip your boards, just make sure, double check, measure twice, cut once kind of idea. So measure your length and make sure you got the right length. So it should be 26 3/4 around there. So you cut those. You're gonna need 4 for each side of the crib. So an 8 total 1x3s that are 26 3/4 inch long. We're gonna cut the last one here, so yeah, make sure you get a square cut and straight cut. But after that, we're gonna start assembling these. So thank you so much, you guys, and we'll see you. Hey everybody, so here we are doing the crib ends. So I just wanted to kind of show you the setup a little bit. So just to refresh, so we just got 2-inch screws. And we just essentially screwed through all 3 boards to hold them together. So yeah. So what we did, just a refresher, is that we glued these boards and essentially just clamped them here. This is the same thing. We glued the board, clamped it together, and then kept them together. And then we set that overnight so the glue would hold. And then we flipped it over and we glued the other side. And then we clamped that down. And we didn't let it sit as long. We just kind of let it set for like 30 minutes, something like that. We just did something else with the crib. But after the 30 minutes was up, we essentially just screwed in this is the inward facing, this is going to be facing the baby. So we screwed in on the baby side, we screwed 2 screws per board. And those are going through all 3 boards. So that, and they're 2-inch screws that we used again. But this setup is almost the same exact setup that we used for the first board to screw and nail those down. But the only thing different that we have going here is we have this cross clamp. The reason that we're using the cross clamp is to keep the boards together. Some of the boards were just like spacing out apart, and then we glued the 1x3 onto the 1x6s here. This is 1x3, 1x6s. We glued those together, and now we're just letting it set. We're not going to let it set overnight, so we're just going to let it set to get a 30-minute dry on it, and then we're going to glue the other side, the back side. And we're going to leave this clamp on the whole time until we get screws in it, because you don't want to unclamp it and then the boards spread apart and then your glue doesn't hold. So then you have to do the whole process again. So we're just leaving it clamped, and then we're just going to screw it into each. And like I said, this is the inside facing the baby where the screws are going to show, and then this is the outside facing outside where you don't see any screws. So it's coming together pretty awesome. I mean, it's awesome that we get to see some parts. So it's been a long process, but hey, I hope you guys are having fun. But that's it for the crib ends. So we're going to be moving on to the crib sides with the spindles. So everything's coming together. So yeah, awesome. Thanks, you guys. Hey, everybody. I know it's been a long time since we recorded, so the baby is almost here, so we have been building and constructing and everything. So as you can see, this is the end of the crib side, which is pretty awesome. Now, I'm just going to basically take you back through everything that we did. I thought it would be also easier since I changed some things up and we redid stuff. So here I'm just going to lay it all out for you guys about exactly what I did. So here, as you can see, there are 14 spindles here. These were cut at 29 inches, each one of these. And originally, they came like this, with the squares. So square, yeah, corners, exactly. And now I routered each one of the corners with a 1/4-inch bit, router bit. And this is the first time that I ever used a router before, so it was pretty interesting. But what I ended up doing is, since I don't have a router table or anything like that, I had to borrow the router too. So what I ended up doing was clamping both sides with just a regular wood clamp, and then I routered one side and then the other, and then I had to move the clamp, and then I routered the end of it. So then I routered into both edges, and then moved that clamp, and then routered both edges here. So it didn't get a smooth, like super smooth, like cut here. It was kind of difficult to get it like uniform. Usually you would have a router table, and then you just do the whole piece on one thing. But what I did is I just sanded with the 220 grit paper, sanded these down so that they're all meshed and flushed. And if you guys have never used a router before, what I personally did is you'll put the bit on, and then I put the bit on so that you guys can't see it, but you'll see like your 1/4-inch groove bit. Essentially, the end of the bit it'll come up like this. So like that, and then you want to put the top on top of the board. So right close to the top. So that's what I did. Now you guys might correct me that it might be wrong how to do it. I mean, each to their own. So I just sanded it up so that it's smooth. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments below. So, but that's what we did. So sanded all those down. And this is the end product, so for the spindles. Like I said, they're 29 inches long. So now we had to create the object to screw them into, which is the 1x3s. So the 1x3s, which are right here, laying on here, they're 53 inches long. So they're 53 inches long, and basically I just cut them. So there was nothing special. I didn't router or anything like that. And then what we ended up doing to put them on the 1x3s is we put wood glue down on the 1x3. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. So what we did is we measured out each of the 1x3s, or one 1x3. We measured one 1x3 out, and the spacing for these spindles is 2 3/8 apart. So that's the gap right here, 2 3/8, and we measured each one of those down the line. And after we measured each one of them down the line, we noticed that there was like a huge gap or a small gap at the end. So what we ended up doing was we split the gap. So at the two ends, you'll have 1 3/8. So it's a smaller gap. And honestly, it looks really good. So I mean, if you guys want to like make it shorter, if you want to, you can. But it doesn't look that bad. So it doesn't look bad at all. So it's just basically 1 3/8 at the very beginning, and then 2 3/8, 2 3/8, 2 3/8, all the way down to the end, which is 1 3/8. So that's basically how we did it, and then we basically used a square, meshed up both ends, so they're flush, and we used a square, and then we like put a line down, and so we only had to measure one board, and we put that on all 4 boards, so that we didn't have to measure 40 different times. So yeah. and basically, after we did that, we just lined up the two boards. We put the spindles, we put glue on each spot, and we wood glue, and then we clamped them down. We let that set for a little while, 30 minutes, and then we essentially just put the screws in. So another thing that we messed up too. So this is why I'm saying it afterwards. Another thing is when we were screwing in the boards. This is probably woodworking 101 that I didn't know about. But when you're screwing in the boards, we were screwing in the spindles, and since the spindles are so small, like they have a high likelihood of splitting. So one or two of our boards split. So what we ended up doing was we started using a drill bit. We drilled out each hole before we put the screw in. So, and actually, the screws that we used I love these Power Pro screws. I mean, they're pretty amazing, but they are kind of expensive too. So, don't blame me if you don't want to use them. So we use 1 1/4 inch screws to screw these in. So yeah, and just make sure you set them just a little bit so that whenever you go back and put wood filler in them, you have some space. So essentially, yeah. So and like I said, you'll want to put wood filler in in these holes where the screws are essentially. So you want to basically drive the screw in a little bit underneath the wood, about, I don't know, I would say about 1/8 of an inch so into the wood, so that you can put wood filler on top and then let it dry and then sand it so that you can have it looks like a flush board, so you have a cleaner finished product, so you don't have holes and screws showing everywhere. But after we did that, after we cut, which is just what I'm saying, in 5 minutes, it took forever. So cut the spindles, routed them, sanded them, put them on the 1x3s. We went to the base of the sides and the top of the side. So the top of the side is made out of a 1x2, and it's 53 inches long, just like the 1x3s. And what I did was I again routed the top of the 1x2, and then sanded it down. After I sanded it down and we routed it down, what we ended up doing is we didn't want to screw it down. So we didn't want to screw it down because we just didn't want to split the wood, and also because we wanted to personally have like a cleaner look. So you guys can use finishing nails. We actually got some of those, but we never used any of them. But what we ended up doing is we just ended up doing using wood glue on it. We figured that since you're really never going to grab a hold of just this top portion, it might be good. And actually, we messed up and we had to pull some of this off with the wood glue like a little bit set, and it started messing up the board. So the wood glue itself was really, really strong, and some people say that it's actually stronger than the wood itself, which based off ripping up the board potentially, it is strong. So what we did is we just glued it down, and then we clamped it each down here, so each down onto the thing until it set. We let that set overnight so that we get a firm glue on it, and yeah. So after that, we moved to the base, which is just a 2x4, And again, I routed the top two edges of the board. I mean, you don't have to do inside the crib if you don't want to. We were actually going to use these for something else. So you could just do the outer edge here, router just one edge, and that would be fine because you're not going to be able to see the inside. because of the mattress frame. So so yeah, we just went ahead and we basically just went and sanded these down. What we ended up doing was we put yep, there they are. Okay, so okay, so what we ended up doing was, okay, yep, there we go. You don't have to move it. So what we ended up doing is we put glue on the bottom of this. Actually, here we go, I'll show you. We put glue on the bottom of each of these spindles. And what we did was we measured. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let me reset here. Okay. What we initially did was we measured all the way down this 2x4 is 5/8. So 5/8 spacing. This is the outside of the crib. So the outside, this is not where the mattress is going to be. Mattress frame is going to be down. This is the outside of the frame. So what we measured is 5/8. And what that ended up being is it gave us more than enough room back here on the back end to put the mattress frame on the crib sides. So that's essentially what you're trying to do. You can put up a little mock of the two sides together if you want to check to make sure you know that you're going to be all good. But what we did is we just spaced this little space right here on the front and the outward facing going to be 5/8. So that would be 5/8. And then what we ended up doing is we just put this board, line the crib, the spindles up with the line essentially. And then what we ended up doing is we put glue on each one of these on the bottom of these spindles. And after we put glue on the bottom of the spindles, we ended up screwing in the bottom right here. So screwing in the bottom. And again, what we did was we drilled out these holes. So because we just didn't want any wood cracking. So at this point, so we didn't want to risk it. So basically, and then we used 3-inch screws here to go in this depth. So yeah, so basically that's what we did. So here's the back side of it. So as you can see, like the crib length here, so the width, so the mattress frame itself will sit on this. So that's why you want to have a space there for that. So I just wanted to kind of show you what the reason is for this 5/8 being here. So you want to have enough space on this back side here. So right here, you want to have enough space on this back side so that the crib mattress can sit on it. That's the reason that's there. So just, you can do a mock-up if you want, or so that you could get it like perfect. But we used 5/8 on this side, and then the rest of the space is just space that the mattress frame will sit on. Okay, I know you saw some metal pieces there too. I'm going to explain those a little bit later for you guys. But essentially, this is the crib side. So this is the end. This is the final product. So I'll just like kind of show you guys here really quick, like what it looks like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So so there's the front, and then the side, and then the final, which is the there we go, got it. Okay, which is the back. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of sanding, a lot of sanding, and a lot of sanding. So if you are tired of sanding, there's a lot more to come. So yeah. So use 220 grit. So and pretty much that's it. So if you guys have any questions about anything, I know I went through that pretty fast, but leave a comment below, and we are going to move on to finish up our ends of the crib. So we'll see you guys there. Hey guys, how's it going? Ta-da! I hope it's that quick for you guys, but probably not. So here is the crib end. So all put together, well, mostly put together. So there's two pieces that I don't have on here yet. So last time you saw it, we were putting these, clamping these together, so across, and gluing them, and then screwing them into 2 in each board to basically hold them together. So from there, what we did is the posts were cut to a length of 43 inches, each one. These are 4x4 posts. This we use cedar, so you guys can use anything though. So we just use cedar, 4x4 posts, 43 inches tall. And what we ended up doing is we used a big bolt. so a big bolt. Just screwed in on the top and the bottom of this this end. What we ended up doing is we drilled a hole out because the bolt. I don't have a bolt because we took them back to the department store. So the bolt's about that big. So somewhere around there. So about that big of wide, and it has to go in. So essentially we drilled out the place where it needs to go, and what we did is you want it to be in the center of these 1x3s essentially. So that worked out to be like 1.5 inches from the top here and 8 3/4 from the bottom here for us. But you just essentially want it to be in the center here. And what we did is we screwed the bolt in all the way through to the 1x3s. And we did that for both sides. We just got one on the top, one on the bottom. It's really sturdy. And then one on the other side and one on the other side. And essentially we used 5-inch screws. So however you want to use, whatever you want to use, they're just 5 inches to go all the way so that you can get a good grasp on the board. This guy up here on the top piece is a 1x6 that we got, and what it is it's 37 3/4 long, and we didn't do any ripping to it actually. It's just 1x6, so it's only about like 1 inch on either side. So we figured that it was just fine. So with that, for us anyways, you guys might want to rip it down. If you want to do that, you'd have to probably router it so that it makes nice on the edges, so they're smooth edges. But yeah, we just put it on there. And what we ended up doing, because we didn't want to put screws on the top. What we did is we put the top of this facing down here, and what we ended up doing is we lifted this up on top of itself and screwed in 3.5-inch screws. So we just used 3.5-inch screws, and we screwed in from the 1x3s here. So we screwed it in all the way to the 1x3. And it grabbed in, and it's actually pretty sturdy. So, and then you don't have to worry about filling in the holes and you get a clean look on the top. So, which everybody's going to be looking at. So basically, when we sanded this board down, so we sanded everything down. Now you're thinking, oh, okay, that's super easy. Okay, be done. Yeah, you can actually be done with this. But we were crazy, so we wanted to go above and beyond a little bit. We wanted to put these decorative pieces on, so that's what they call them. And it took us a little while, so to be honest, to get these figured out. So what we did is we started with the 1x3. So what started with the 1x3, we measured to the center of the 1x3. And then after we measured to the center of the 1x3, we essentially took another 1x3 and we measured what the center point of this 1x3 would be. So this 1x3 at the center of here, so would be right there. So we measure a tick on either side. And then what we ended up doing after that is we measured 1x3, like for the center of the 1x3 to go into that corner, that back corner. So you would want the center of the 1x3 to be right here, this corner. And then you measure where that 1x3 would be at here as well. And then we drew, we didn't draw, we had some yarn and we had a string and we attached the string to this side essentially. So and then you have a mock-up of kind of like where the board's going to be. And then after we did that, we essentially traced the board. So traced the board and we started getting cuts and angles so that we could get to the point. And actually what it worked out to be is one of the angles is going to be a 22.5 angle. So one of the angles is going to be that. The other angle is going to be just like your square angle essentially. So this angle is the 22.5 angle. So you essentially just put it on there like that. So you're going to have essentially a 22.5 angle for both sides of these, and that's the short side here. So you're going to have 22.5 angle right here. This is going to be the flat, and essentially you're going to have this is going to be your squared end. So so to get this angle, so we really got our template. So from the string. And then after we got our template, we had to kind of mesh them together. So, because this is just going off the assumption that you made a perfect rectangle. So, and it's not a square, so it's rectangle. So I mean, it's not going to be completely square. So what we did is you are going to have the 22.5 angle, and then you have to essentially cut this to these longer sides to the shape of what you need them to be. So so it's actually really pretty, so it's really great. I love it. I love the way it looks, and I'm really glad that we did it. It just took us a lot of time. So just be patient with yourself. You'll get it, but it just took a lot of time. Just be careful. You can always cut more, but you can never cut less. So be sure that you're just checking every time you make a little cut or a little check, just to make sure that you're going in the right direction. So, and there's people out there, you guys probably know a way easier way than me, so and us. But like I said, this is the first time I used a router, so so we're not experts. But you guys can do it for sure. This is the first time that we've ever done it. So yeah, basically you'd have this, and then you have a matching board on the other side. I love how like it's in the center of the board there, you know, and it looks good. I love that, you know. And what you could do is another easier way is that you can essentially just have instead of having it like right here in the center, you can essentially just have like a straight edge here. So you could just have a straight edge here. That would just butt up against here. So you'd have the board here, and then you'd have the board up here. So, or you could have the board like this, so meeting up. So you could have it right here, and then like that. So I mean, whatever your preference is, you know, whatever it is you want to do and you like, you know. But I just would encourage you to do what you would like to do. So and not give up, you know, because I totally didn't think that we would be able to do that, but we did it. So, I mean, we're pretty excited about it. So basically, we just put these, they're not on there now, but what we're going to do is we're going to put these boards on here, and we're going to end up screwing these on. So, actually, scratch that. So I don't know what we're going to do. It's either you can put these on, and then you can use screws or you can use finishing nails, whichever one you want to use to get a cleaner look. So you can always put wood filler in them, so it doesn't look bad. So just go ahead and just make sure you go in like 1/8 with the screws, and use a punch if you're using like a finishing. If you're not using a nail gun, if you're just using a hammer, just use a punch to punch those in so that they're not sticking out. Okay, and our last thing, so you can see that we put up a mock-up here we assembled the whole crib together here, and so that we could figure out kind of where our like 5/8 for our crib size would have been. So that's kind of like where that comes from. But right here we got a hole drilled out. So what we ended up wanting to do is we wanted to make our crib adjustable. And so you have the crib mattress, which would be sitting down here on the bottom, and then you could essentially lift the crib up and screw in like where the mattress would be essentially, so onto the post. But we didn't want to do that. We wanted to move it to a preset spot, because I mean really like we wanted to put 2 in, but really like since the baby's going to either get tall or stand, you know, want to climb, and you're going to want it at the very bottom, or she's super small and she doesn't do much now, you know, so you can have her up top, you know. So I mean, and the mattress is, you can measure your mattress, but our mattress was 5 inches thick. So I mean, like once you get 5 inches there, so it was just easier for us to just do one adjustment. So what we used is we used some brass inserts, wood inserts, and the ones that we used was a 1/4 inch. I got the package here, so 1/4 inch by 20. So that's what we used, and 20 is for the actual the screws. So you'll use these screws for the 20 inch, and then we just essentially you just make a 3/8. For a 1/4 inch, we used a 3/8 drill bit, so we drill those in, and then we used a flat blade screwdriver to screw those brass inserts in. So, and where we put them is we essentially just halved this distance. So we essentially halved it. This is about, from the top of it is about 11.5 inches. So 11.5 inches from the top of the crib. so yeah, we drilled those in. But yeah, that makes it a little bit easier, so that you could like put it up high, and then you can put it down low whenever she gets bigger. So or he. But yeah, so that is basically it, guys. So for the crib end, so we put these inserts, we put the decorative pieces on, so we're gonna put these on it. Remember 22.5, and then just work your way from there. So we use strings, and then we put the top on. So yeah, basically that was it. So we centered the top, and we measured on either side to put those up. So but yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. So I know whenever you're getting close to the end, it's pretty awesome to see everything come together, but you guys are doing great. We will move on to the crib mattress next. So we'll see you guys there. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So here we are, and we are discussing about the mattress frame today. So you got the crib side, you got the crib end, and now you're working on the mattress frame. So, which is awesome because you made it that far for one. Yeah, good job, guys. Basically what we ended up doing is, first off, this length right here, guys, this is a 1x3, this is a 1x3. These outer edges are all 1x3s. And we cut these to 52 7/8 for a length. And that length worked out really well whenever we did our mock-up. So, and I would totally recommend you guys put this together to make sure that the mattress frame fits. It didn't fit for us for some reason, which is no big deal. But I'm just letting you guys know kind of what we did. So, okay, so this width right here is 27 1/8. Definitely, we were told that it needs to be 27.5 originally. So what we ended up doing is we like routed this and sanded it and skill sawed it to get it to length. It just has to hold the mattress. But this currently is 27 1/8. I want like to say that this would be the same width as what you guys need if you're gonna build it too. So you could start with 27.5 if you want to, and then work down to 27.1/8, just to have some wiggle room if you would like. But we're at 27.1/8, so for a width. And essentially, so you want that 27.1/8 and 52.7/8. That's all you need. So everything else needs to be built to what that is. So we built these at 23 inches. These are 23 inches, and this 51.3/8. So, and these are 2x2s that we have here. So essentially, all we did is we just flushed these up so that these are all flush, because this is where the mattress is going to sit. Mattress is going to sit right in his little cubby hole here, and that's what we did. So we just cut them out at 23 and 51.3/8, and then put the frame together. So we used a 1x3s. I mean, we used 1x3s, but we used 3-inch screws and 1.25-inch screws to screw these in. So we essentially, what we did is we screwed in the 1x2 to the 1x3 first. And then what we did, these end boards. And then what we did is we put this end board right here, onto the 1x2 and 1x3s. So that's how we assembled it. And then we just put these in snug, tight. So measured them up, and then they measured out to be 23 inches for us. Measured them up and put them in there. So, and then we just screwed them in the 3-inch screws. We put 2 3-inch screws in for each one so that it doesn't rotate this board, so it doesn't rotate. So we put 2 on each side of the board, and then for the ends, so that it would be snug, is we put 1.25-inch screws in these. So in these sides. So yeah. So you guys, like I said, the biggest thing is the width of this. We had the biggest issue on. We had originally 27.5, and we had to bring it down to 27.1/8. Like I said, you guys can start at 27.5 and then use a skill saw. What we did is we used a skill saw I just basically took a blade length off every single time and tested it. So that's what I did until it fit properly. So you want to make sure that you don't take off too much of one side. So you want to have equal sides. So yeah, basically that's it. So for the mattress, and again, so let me show you guys. So they're not on here currently. Not on here currently, but we're going to end up screwing these. These are like little mending braces, and it's 3 inches by 5.1/8 inch. So we got these, and they're for the mattress adjustment, the height adjustment, those brass inserts that I was talking to you about for the post. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some wood screws and just screw these in so that it will be able to swing back and forth. So we can move this so that whenever we take the crib mattress out of the crib, this mattress frame, we can move this out of the way so that we can get it up and out. So that's what we're going to be doing, just using regular wood screws to just screw it down. So yeah. So that's pretty much it, though, for the mattress frame. So let me know if you guys have any questions. So it's been a lot of fun, and we are super close, guys. We are super close. So we're excited. So hope you guys are having fun, and we'll see you guys. Actually, I'll show you guys the brackets on the crib side next. So we'll see you guys there. Josh here from Love the Hobbies. So here I wanted to just kind of show you the metal brackets that we did for the bed frame, and
It's pretty simple actually. So what we did was we just used some brackets that are from Lowe's, and we attached one end to the bed frame and then one end to the actual post, and we left it a little bit loose so that it had room to give a little bit. But other than that, we had brass inserts in the hole itself, and what we did was we measured from the top of the crib side to the location that we wanted to drill out. So and that's pretty much what we did. We did put it all together so that we could have a mock of when and where we wanted it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the last step. And here we got some pictures of the finished product. It came out really good. What we used is we used some pre-stain to bring out the wood grain, which I highly recommend because it really made the wood pretty. And we used pre-stain on it, and then we used some stain. We put like stain it to your whatever color you want, the darkness, and then we put 2 to 3 coats of poly on it. So after you do that, you just essentially wait a long time for it to get all the fumes and everything out. So but yeah, that's pretty much it though. I hope you guys had a lot of fun making it, and we'll see you guys later. I hope, just leave some comments, and I'll leave everything in the description below. So thank you so much, you guys, and like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.